Did you know if you were hurt or injured by the police or the government, it can be exceedingly hard to make a recovery? And today we're going to tell you a little bit about why.
Hi everyone, my name is Eric Mausner. This is my law partner Tom Graham. We are Mausner Graham Injury Law, personal injury lawyers in Miami, Florida. Thanks for stopping by our channel where we talk about various issues, news, cases, and matters related to personal injury law.
Most of our law here in the United States, it's kind of interesting, has developed from years and years and years and hundreds of years ago from England and Great Britain, and it's called common law. So the English were the first to have this tradition of common law, and when settlers came to America, we adopted it here, and our forefathers adopted it. And it's a body of law that generally applies. So under the common law, there was a very common thing that you could not sue the king. You cannot sue the king. That was a major thing. The king held all the power. And to an extent, that's still true here in the United States. It's very hard to sue the government or government agencies or the police. There are laws in place called sovereign immunity. Against the federal government, it's called the Federal Tort Claims Act, and they make it difficult. There are caps as to, here in Florida, what you can recover, typically $200,000 against the government or an agency. Our fee as lawyers, much smaller amount we're allowed, and there are a bunch of hoops you have to jump through. So they make it very hard still to sue the king.
Yeah, the thinking behind that is you can't bankrupt the king, you can't bankrupt the government. So there's limitations on how much you can recover when the government is the negligent actor. And oftentimes it's very prohibitive. It's very difficult to bring a case against the government, especially in Florida. In other states like New York, there's not caps. In other states around the union, you can sue the government and be more successful. But in Florida, it's $200,000 per person or $300,000 per accident or incident.
Now, we actually regularly do bring cases on behalf of our seriously injured clients against the government, be that against the federal government for things like medical malpractice, or against the county for bus drivers that are negligent, cause a collision, or for instance, police officers that are negligent while they're driving, cause a collision. And those can be very challenging because those caps will generally apply there. However, what we also do is we'll bring cases for excessive police force. So police shoot and kill someone when they don't have a right, or police are extremely violent arresting someone. And in those circumstances, here's where the law gets a little different. Those caps don't apply on those constitutional cases of excessive force, which I'm pretty passionate about those. So, what we've seen a lot over the years are two things that are sticking out in my mind. When there's a police chase, like a really fast police chase, and a car will get hit, obviously the police have a hard job and they're out there trying to apprehend a suspect. And sometimes if they don't do things procedurally proper and they cause an accident, you can try to recover against them. But again, that's hard. It's hard for a lot of reasons. You have that sovereign cap of $200,000. You also have a case where you're going to have to try to convince a juror to hold a cop negligent for trying to do his job and recover against a suspect. So that's an example of how a challenging case is made more challenging by these challenging laws called sovereign immunity.
Is there a lights and siren exception?
I don't really recall, I haven't researched it in a while, but there very well may be.
So there's a situation where if the cop doesn't have his lights and sirens on and he's negligent, you can hold him accountable. But when the lights and sirens are on and you get hit in that police chase, your chances of recovering are going to be slim to none.
Yeah, and I mean, probably for good reason, depending on the facts. Now, maybe it's not a serious emergency and they're, really flying down a highway they shouldn't be. Might be different there. But another example we get a lot of calls about would be state or local road work that causes someone either to veer into the road and get hit or causes them to be in a collision and get hit. And that's another instance where that sovereign cap of $200,000 is going to come into play. And I got to tell you, it's always a hard call. How many wrongful death cases have we had to tell people that the maximum you can get here is $200,000 because of this Florida law? I mean, by the way, I think that law was enacted 40, 50 years ago and it's never changed.
We turn them down, and what we also see and turn down pretty often are sidewalk trip and fall cases too, where the government, city or county, controls the sidewalk and somebody trips and falls. Everyone's seen it, a broken sidewalk, missing pieces, uneven pieces, and it causes someone's fall and it looks dangerous. Your best day of recovering is $200,000. The only way you're going to get that figure is by going to trial. They
Right.
never pay it. You're talking about 2-3 years of litigation. You're talking about an attorney fee that's reduced. The law is really prohibitive. It's designed to reduce lawsuits.
It's stacked against you.
Against the government, yeah. So it's unfortunate. What do you do in these situations? Well, obviously you want to make sure you have good health insurance, because you're really not going to, your chances of recovering against the government are going to be slim. And even when you do, your upside is going to be capped.
Certainly can be. Despite these challenges, we have still gotten some amazing results for our clients against the government, and we know how to look for other targets or other sources to recover from. So I'm Tom Graham, this is Eric Mausner. We love this stuff. If you're interested in personal injury, learning about these cases, please follow us, drop us a line. We're always here to help.